There is a space in my heart where I find the truth. I find me in you, a truth beyond what you may see now. But when we are one, we bring more good about. No matter who or what you call yourself or where you come from, yeah. There is a place in this world with open arms right now. Welcome to love, welcome to peace, welcome to our community. Be who you are, let your light shine. We're so much more when we unite. You are welcome here. You are welcome here. I see with new eyes, allow and unfold, embrace and let go, trust the flow. There's a freedom in love when you follow your heart. Together we are stronger than we could ever be apart. No matter who or what you call yourself or where you come from, yeah. There is a place in this world with open arms right now. Welcome to love, welcome to peace, welcome to our community. Be who you are, let your light shine. We're so much more when we unite. You are welcome here. You are welcome here. Breathe in and out, slowly feel all that's around you, all that you feel, all that you know. Let it go. Welcome to love, welcome to peace, welcome to our community. Be who you are, let your light shine. We're so much more when we unite. Yeah, when we unite. Oh, we unite. Yeah, yeah, when we unite. Yeah, yeah, yeah. You are welcome here. Love is welcome here. Peace is welcome here. You are welcome here.
Yes, you are welcome here. Good afternoon, good evening, good night, good day to you, wherever you are. Thank you for tuning in to yourself first and then tuning in to this broadcast, this conversation. Because when you tune in, you get to listen. When you listen, you're transformed. I am Ade, your transformational agent, your beingness artist. Welcome to another episode of Ade Presents Being You, the journey back to yourself, This is season 2, episode 16. And date is Tuesday, August 18th, 2020. What a great year. 2020 is a gift. Man, it's coming here to just clean some shit up. So it's a detox year. So you just hold up and say, clean me out. Clean me out. Oh, I'm cramping. Just breathe. It's like, but I need that. Yeah, 2020. No, you don't. I don't know who I am without him, without her, without it. You think you do, but you don't. Trust me. Oh, life is good. It's getting better. This is where we invite you, encourage you to take a look at how you see yourself, how you see the world, how you see yourself in the world, and how you see the world in you. Like my friend, my sister. I don't know. She's here. She's here and she's here, right in my heart area. I don't know if you can see it. Yeah, yes, you can. She's just right here. She was like, Ade, you created it all. You created it all. I'm like, no, I didn't create that shit. I didn't do that. That part I did, but that part, she was like, and she just giggles. So anyway, you get to meet her in a minute. And for those of you who don't know, Ade presents Being You and Ade presents The Heart of the Matter simulcast on YouTube and Facebook. So on Facebook, if you don't know, you're probably watching on Facebook or maybe YouTube. But if you go to Facebook, if you want to find out what's going on Facebook, it's the same thing. It's the Being You podcast Facebook page. That's where we're streaming from. It's also on other platforms. If you go to my personal page, it's there too. But where I am on my devices is the Being You podcast Facebook page. And I'm also streaming on YouTube, which is doing something really interesting here. New Jace is in the house and is asking me if I should hide her comment. No, I don't need to do that. So anyway, thank you all for being here. Thank you for saying yes to life. Some of you may have seen the promo and be excited. Or maybe some of you were triggered. Somebody got triggered and asking me to talk about something that ain't none of my business. Like, it ain't my business. You talk about it. So anyway, we are talking about sexual energy. Take a breath. Your sexual energy is your healing energy. And once again, like I said, I have my dear sister, friend Monique. She's in the house. What else do I need to tell you? Well, I need to tell you that you can catch me on Thursdays, 6 p.m. Eastern, 11 p.m. UK time for Ade Presents The Heart of the Matter. This show, The Heart of the Matter, is where you basically invite yourself to sit with me and we get to do some work, process some of the things you're challenged with. And if you want to see some of the past episodes to really get an idea of what I'm talking to, on Facebook, go to Facebook.com. I think it's facebook.com / boy, it's a lot, / Being You podcast / live, or just go to the Being You Facebook page. You see it. You can go back and see some of the people that I've worked with. And if you feel like you want to say yes to life, you need some support and guidance, you're invited to step in. And you just got to send me an email through my website, adelove.co, ade love.co, co. That's it, not .com, .co. And let me see who the co-families are here. That was a horrible segue. I tried. My co-travelers. Yeah, that sounds better. Michelle is in the house. Thank you for being here. India is behind the scenes working things out. And Deborah is in the house. Smile lady. She's in Ghana. And Sila. She's here. Lotus. I like that name. I invite you to share where you're listening from as well. Share your questions and your thoughts about this conversation. Because some people, this conversation about sexual energy is empowering. For some people, it's triggering. So for some people, it's empowering and triggering. Oh, I don't know. Maybe you belong in another category. You can tell me. I want to jump in. I think I got everything. Nice to see you, New Jace. I'm going to read by my sister friend's bio. I love Monique. Monique is like, this is a little bit that you need to know about me. I don't need all that other story. Monique is a life coach and writer. She loves all things concerning inner transformation and personal responsibility. Recently, Monique has immersed herself in ways she can assist people as they change with a transforming world. She is delighted by the awareness and the responsibility people are finding to make our world a better place. To find out more about her, go to her website address. Go to her website. The website address is moniqueruffin.com. RUFFIN. And you can also find her on Instagram, Twitter, everywhere. Just do at Monique Ruffin. So, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, psychics and skeptics, physical beings and non-physical beings, help me welcome my friend, my sister, myself, Monique Ruffin. Ladies and gentlemen, yay!
Yay! Thank you. What an incredible greeting. I love that you said all those like physical beings, non-physical beings. Like that includes everybody. The plant life, the trees,
That's right.
the fairies.
That's it. All come on here.
The crystalline beings. Absolutely. That's right.
Yes. You're
That's
such a joy, Monique. Thank you. Thank you. I want to make sure everybody's present. It's important to make sure that every being is present.
That's right. That's right. That's right.
How are you doing?
Thank you. Well, thank you for asking. Today is a new moon, so I feel the energy of new of the astrology always impacts me, and
Monique, can you hear me?
New moons are a lot of pressure. Yeah,
can you hear me?
Can.
Yeah, we're having issues with the connection.
Yes, I can hear you.
Yeah. Am I breaking up as well? Yeah, you're frozen now.
Nope, you're not.
Okay, well let's take another stab. Tell us, you were talking about a new moon, but it was choppy.
Oh, okay, great. I apologize for that.
No, you're good.
Yeah, so I'm saying that the moon energy it's into it. And so there's a part of me. Is it not working?
you can see it in my face.
Is it working?
It's still breaking up. I don't know what is going on.
Yeah.
Let's do India. Is it breaking up on your end? It's breaking up. Monique, do you want to do me a favor? Do you want to disconnect and log back in? And hopefully,
Okay, that sounds great.
All right. Thank you.
Okay, perfect. I'll be back.
Yeah, she'll be back no matter what. And Monique, India, I'm not breaking up, am I? I don't, because, all right, it is what it is, right? And yeah, I know, Lotus, we got to make sure everything is clear. All right, we're just going to lay hands on the computer, on the microphone, and the internet, all the connections, so that when Monique comes back, we can hear her clearly. Yeah, there's also a delay. You're right, Danielle. There's a delay, and that started. Thank you, Lotus. That started on my end last week. I noticed that delay, which is weird. Something is. All right, let's take another stab at this. Hey, Monique, how are you doing? It's frozen. What is going? Oh, wait. I don't know if you can hear me, Monique. It's funny.
Yeah.
Is your little man streaming in the house? Do you know if maybe, because sometimes when someone is streaming on Netflix or something or playing a game, it does affect the connection. Or how close are you to the Wi-Fi? Oops, it dropped her.
It dropped me.
No, okay, you're back. I can't even. All right, you're frozen. You know what?
Okay.
Jolie, what?
Okay, so now
Okay.
here I am.
Yeah, if you get maybe if you
So I'm
close it. Okay.
right next to the Wi-Fi.
Okay, and your little man is not streaming, is he? Playing a game or on Netflix or anything like that? Because that does affect.
He's not here.
Okay,
He's not
cool.
here.
All right, let's take another stab. Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, psychics and skeptics, physical beings and non-physical beings, help me welcome my friend, my sister, myself, Monique Ruffin. Hello, Monique. How are you doing?
Hello, Aday. How are you? I'm great.
Yay! So, how
Awesome.
are you doing today?
Well, thank you. Like I was saying before, today's a new moon, so I'm really excited
Mhm.
because new moons are like time to plant new energies, and Leo is all about who you really are. So I'm excited because this is a great time to like focus on ourselves
Mm.
and focus on what we really are here to be and do, and that just makes me happy. There's nothing as exciting as that. And if the topic is sex, that's great because Leo is all about that, um,
Yeah.
being penetrated by the light. How about that?
All puns intended. I didn't see that one coming. It's like, oh, wait, what?
That's
I love
right.
you, Monique.
That's right. You know, we are the light. We are the light. Does everyone know that
Mhm.
we are the light? Like we are light encased in matter. That's what we are, light encased in matter. So Leo is the light and we get penetrated by it. How about that?
Yeah, how about that? So when
Ooh.
you're walking down the street and go, Leo is penetrating me.
Mm. Oh, that
That's
sunlight.
right.
The sun is making love to you, baby.
That's right.
Woo! Ooh, nobody can do it to you like the sun.
So your grandmother goes, "What's wrong with you, grandma? Please, I love you, but please be quiet. I'm having a moment."
Cast out all darkness, all darkness.
Casting out all darkness.
The sun is penetrating me.
That's right. Okay, I love you, Monique. So I, I see. I was, I can't. I'm trying to focus. So when I was when I was, at the beginning of the show, I've had questions that have been playing around in my head, and I was listening, and Spirit was like, "Listen, you and Monique are gonna do what you do. Just relax. Don't try and have some remind. It's going to all happen, and it's happening
Mhm.
now." So
Yeah.
while people are taking that in and breathing that wisdom that they
Yeah.
just felt,
Yeah. Breathing that
so
light.
being you said what?
Breathing that light.
Yeah, breathing in that light.
Mhm.
It makes you light.
Yeah, so,
Um, Ade presents being you. It's really about supporting people to take a look at themselves, as we've been talking about, how we're showing up, how we
mhm.
see ourselves in the world, how we see the world in us. And one of the things that represents how we show up in the world that I found is the name that we have given, the name that we chose, the name that was given to us by our parents. And so what I do with my guests is always ask them, your name, what does
Mhm.
it mean? What does it mean to you? I think Monique is frozen again.
Um, so
Ah, there
my
she is.
name Monique. Am I frozen again? Okay. My
You're,
first name
you're
is
back
Monique, and I
now.
think Monique means yes. I think Monique means great counselor or something like that. And so it's like, so I counsel people. That's what I do. But I also am a great counselor to myself, and I also seek great counsel because I need support from people often as I'm doing the work that I do. My middle name is Cassandra, and Cassandra is in the Greek, the mythology around Cassandra was that she was a prophet and she would tell the king what was coming, and he never liked her what she saw. He never wanted to. So they put her in prison. They made her marry somebody that she didn't love because she saw things that they didn't want. And so that's sort of, so you put great counselor with somebody who sees things and says things that don't want to be heard. I think that sums it up. I think that's who I am.
That sums it right up.
I know, right? Can't make this stuff up. You cannot make this stuff up.
No, that's what I love. That's why I love names, because it says so much about us. And oh my God, you're living your name. You're living your name.
I am. Yeah.
You know, we're going to come back to you living your name, because if we start there, we might go somewhere else. I know everybody want to hear about the sexual energy. I'm projecting that out. But let's kind of start with that, you know. This conversation about your sexual energy being your healing energy. For me, the way I see, you've been in this conversation, the conversation of understanding sexual energy, cultivating harmonious relationships, and self-awareness. And what I also know about you is you don't do things half-assed. If you have an interest in it, you're gonna go deep. You're gonna go into it, and you're gonna go to the dark places and bring it up and say, "Look what I found." And people are like, "Hey, we don't want to see that." So, you know, it's like, you know, it's true. You know, it is true.
Yeah.
I'm going to throw it to you, but really, I think in society, oftentimes we limit the sexual energy to just how we experience it in the body. But there's so much more. I see that there's so much more to it. So sexual energy, your healing energy. What say you, old counselor, that goes to the deep, dark place to bring out what we don't want to see about sexual? Tell us about sexual energy.
Yeah. Well, so let me say that you know, I'm a student of life, and sexuality is the thing that really makes life run. Everything in our universe is sexual. It's just that we have sort of bastardized what it is. Like, we in the West, we created this very pornographic way of dealing with sexuality, or religious. So like, we're either really light and holy and children in schools about what sex really is, or we are to the other extreme, like pornography and no sacredness in it at all. But the truth is that everything in our universe is sex. It's the coming together of two opposite sides. That's it. That's all it is.
Yes.
That's it.
Yes.
The coming together of two opposites. And in that, you create something. So you can come together with two opposites and create another human being. You can come together with two opposites and have an intention together, and then create anything you desire. Because sexual energy is the energy that generates the life. Of course, actually having sex with the flowers and then taking that pollen and using it to create.
You're still breaking up, Monique. Like, are you on a?
It's just for. It's happening.
Hey, can you hear me? Are you on your laptop or phone?
I'm on my phone.
Are you able to do it on a laptop for some reason? So are you on your phone using Safari or Chrome? Can you hear me?
I am on my phone. I came in through WhatsApp. You want me to get my computer? I can hear you.
Yeah, let's do that, because you're breaking up and you're dropping too much gems, and people be mad at me for not speaking up. So yeah, if you can do your laptop, that hopefully that should be better. And if you use Chrome, do you have Chrome, the browser? Okay, yeah, if you use that, so we'll be back. Well, you'll be back.
So the question is how. Okay, sounds
same link.
Okay, great.
Same
So
link.
the thing is that I need. Okay, I'll work it out. Okay,
Yeah.
perfect. Okay, perfect. Thank
All
you.
right. You're welcome. Yes, that's just this is too good a conversation to. All right, thank you for that. Let me give you her number. That no, that's what's I just try to do everything, but I don't need to do that, do I? Because I have my co-producer here. She's like, just give me her number and you do the show. So bear with me, listeners, and I'm sure you're glad I'm doing this because this conversation is too juicy to have the line breaking up. Maybe that's why that is happening. Actually, it's so juicy connection is like, woo, what is going on here? The truth is being expressed. I don't, okay, there you go, India. Yeah, you could call her too, actually, to support her in getting back on. Yeah, if you call her actually and then send her the link, that would be great. All right, so I don't want to say too much yet, but thank you all for your patience. Monique will be back, and let me look in here. And Deborah said, mine is Quinn, wisdom, judge, the bee. That's right. So are you living up to your name, Deborah? And feel free to share your questions in the chat room. Or maybe share your experience. What did you learn about sex and sexuality, your sexual energy? A woman ain't supposed to wear red. She's fast. And it's funny, actually, when you, without going too much in the conversation, but the mindset that we've created around sex and sexuality. We say young girls are fast. We encourage young boys to go out there and sow their oats. The girls are like precious flowers, and the boys can go out. So if you're protecting the girls, who are you sending the boys out to? Anyway, it's crazy. All right, let's see. Monique is back.
All right. Can you hear me?
Yeah, this feels like we got a connection.
Great. Perfect.
We can't have no cock blocking going on while we're having this conversation.
No cock blocking. That's hilarious. I love that. I love that you said that. Who are you sending the boys to go to?
Yeah.
If the girls are being told, you're sending them to the girls who are in secret going, I'll do it. Nobody. Just wait until nobody's watching. I'll do it.
Right. Yes. It's crazy.
It's right. It's the most natural thing. And it requires responsibility. That's the part that we don't really address because we sort of say, don't do it. We create this illusion that there's something about it that's wrong or dirty or nasty. And we don't offer, because we don't teach, we don't offer the responsibility. But as I've done my studying and continue to do it, I realize that we don't teach because we don't know. Really, we're ignorant.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
And I don't know why we don't know, but we don't know. And so the thing about sexual energy, because it's creative energy and spiritual energy, it's the most healing and transformational energy that we have access to.
Mm-hmm.
And, and if you study, for instance, in the Bible, I'll use this, and I think maybe it was Paul. He said something like he learned to, rather than have sex, he learned to use that energy in a different way. It's not uncommon for people who are wanting to do great things to harness their sexual energy, to push it towards what it is they're envisioning, to literally not use it for actual sex, but to use it for the creative experience, to create a business, to create healthy relationships, to create healing in your body by harnessing the energy, breathing, learning how to channel the energy through your chakra system, through your mind. It's very, very healing. And, but it requires some discipline. It requires understanding what it is and understanding that it's not what we've been taught that it is. Because what I have discovered in my own study and experimenting is that whatever you think, this energy forms to your thoughts. It forms to your psyche. So if you think you're undesirable, or you think that what you're doing is dirty, or you think you have to be manipulative, the energy will follow that. Like, you can't lie to this energy. It's
Mhm.
that creative. It's intelligent. It's intelligent energy, right? And
Yes.
so one of the things that I have been noticing for myself, because I've been sharing them in my public social media pages, is that when I was an infant, my parents would have sex with one another, with me in the bed with them, which this is not, cultures do this. Like, everybody is not American and doesn't have all of these bedrooms and all this sort of stuff. So
Right.
sex is a normal, natural thing, right? Um, and because I was in an environment that was toxic, though, it was a toxic environment.
How old were you then?
Maybe I was 2 or 3, very young, one even, But because of the toxicity between my parents, I was tapping into that energy. Like, their sexuality was in the negative extreme, is what I want to say,
Mm.
right? And when sexuality is not used consciously for the intention of love, if it's used to manipulate, if it's used to own, if it's used to grab people and oppress people, like by saying, you can only have sex with me, it's not, of course, people can make agreements to be exclusive. But if it's born out of that, if I'm controlling you, then it's toxic.
Mhm.
It's not clean. And so that's what I was absorbing from my parents, who had created a negative imprint in my nervous system, where my own sexual energy became manipulative and cunning. And how I would use it was that I would go into my own fantasy mind and have sex with people that I was interested in, or that I liked, or that I wanted to be engaged with, or that I was already engaged with. But what I started to realize as I've studied ancient practices is that that's a violation. If the person is not in full agreement with, it's as we think it's not real. We think that internal stuff is not real. We think, oh, it doesn't matter. No,
Yeah.
as it is as powerful and more than if you are actually physically with a person.
Mm.
And we just think that it's not,
Say,
because
say more about that, because someone could say, well, how could you say thinking of having sex with somebody is more powerful than me actually having sex with them?
because this is a mental reality we're in.
Mhm.
Everything is mind. This Everything here on this earth realm that wasn't here already, which is like the earth and the trees and all that, was created by humans. So the house that you're in, the couch you're sitting on, the computers that we're using, all came out of somebody's mind.
Mhm.
So before,
It's the end result, isn't it? It's the
that's
end
right.
result. It's
This is
done.
that's right. This is the end result. It's finished now, right?
Mhm.
But what was it at its creation stage? It was just a thought.
Yeah.
And then that thought got focused on, and it grew, and it became something else, until it finally came out of the invisible and into the scene. And now it's this. The same for sex. The same. It's like, so literally, when you begin to cast your energy upon someone or to someone, you are creating an energetic connection. That's an energetic. And so if that energetic connection isn't where two people are in agreement, where there's a consciousness of agreement. It's one thing if you're married to somebody, or you're lovers, and there's an agreement, but it's the things that I used to do. It's like, oh, I like them, I want them, and I didn't know that I was doing something that was what I would say, like what am I calling it? Like, it's a violation, right? It's
Yeah, because you're probably thinking it's in your mind. Nobody knows. It's just
that's
something you're doing. Nobody's harmed. It's fine. Yeah.
That's it. No. it really is, it's spiritual. Our spiritual power is our life force. And I feel for me, it's best to have agreement.
Mm-hmm.
I know that now going forward. And I had to read, I had to study, I had to pray, I had to meditate, I had to listen. And for the last couple of years, like I said, I've been doing work to heal that experience I had with my parents and heal those energies that I inherited from them. Like, because as parents, we pass on our trauma, our everything, our gifts, our joys, everything to our children.
Mm-hmm.
And so when I realized that, I was like, oh, that experience that I had with my parents created a some sort of false sensation of goodness. And like I could feel their sexual energy. And it occurred as a good feeling in my young body. And so then so because it occurred as a good feeling in my young body, as I matured, I would try to recapture that good feeling, right? Mm-hmm. And so I would do it by either, self-pleasure. Like I remember I started self-pleasuring when I was 3 or 4 years old because I'd already been exposed to it. But as I matured and puberty came on, then I would start pleasuring thinking about a particular boy, thinking about a particular desire or something like that. And then sooner or later, those experiences will come into being because that's how powerful our energy is. I would cast them, I would create the vision and consciousness, and it would come. And only in the last couple of years, when I started to realize that my sexual energy was off, it started to feel off. I was like, something just doesn't feel right. And I started really meditating, praying, asking, like looking at my sexual behaviors, my partners, and seeing what's really going on here, and realize that I was misusing my sexual energy.
So there's a question, which is what you're speaking to. So it is harmful to think of someone in a sexual way without their permission. And it's interesting that sometimes we compartmentalize things. Anything that we do without somebody else's permission, that speaks for itself. So how could it be? Why is it different when it comes to fantasizing about somebody else? And Katie said this. It's true. Katie said, our minds are not as private as we might imagine. Indeed, thoughts are not private. You think a thought about somebody and then they call you. It's like, oh my God, I was just thinking about you. Thoughts are not private. And our sexual energy, like you said earlier, it's our creative energy. It's the energy that heals us. And that's really the essence of who we are. That's the purest form of who we are. Yeah. So transmuting that energy to somebody else with that, you don't even know what they got. You don't know what they got going on. And I'm not even talking about disease, their mental state.
That's
their
right.
mental state. And you join with that. And earlier, when you're talking about not knowing the power, we're not taught the responsibility of it. I think there is a innate knowing of how powerful it is. Yeah. And because we don't know how to handle this wild horse, we're the part of it that feels good when it's in the barn and we can just stroke it. It's like, oh, that feels good, but we're not going to confront it.
Right.
But we're in a time now where we are recognizing that we are more than this physical body.
Yeah.
And I don't want to say especially, but I would say especially women now are learning to reclaim their power, the sexual energy that's been demonized.
Yeah.
A woman's period is looked at as dirty, which is just ridiculous. So there's all this crap that's been tossed out there, and then parents are telling kids, well, my kids are not ready to talk about sex, and I don't want to talk to them about it because I don't want to encourage them to do it. But tell them when you're crossing the road, make sure you look to the left and to the right. Well, you telling them to look to the left or right. Does that mean they're going to jump in front of a car? No. Go ahead.
The parents people don't know how to talk about sexuality because it's been taught incorrectly. We talk about it like it's just a physical act, as if it's not a spiritual practice. And so if you're not, that's why parents are ignorant. Like, so to the defense of parents, I will say the idea is that you don't want your children to do things that are going to harm them. So that's why they say don't have sex. You don't want your children to create life without being ready. But the fact is that if we're not fully educating them on what it is, because it's their power and it's with them no matter what. So if you don't teach them how to use it, or teach yourself how to use it to then teach them how to use it, then you send them out into the world ill-informed, and they're going to have sex.
That's it. That's it.
And they're going to have sex ignorantly and, unconsciously, because they've not been taught. And whose responsibility is that? The parents.
And especially when you say don't have sex, then the mind automatically goes, why not?
That's right.
And if you're not telling me why not, the mind is like, but why not? Well, do you have sex? No, but my sister did. Well, how was it? Because now you now want to know. Well, if we're going to encourage not having sex, we wouldn't tell the whole story.
Right.
And it's and I wonder if maybe that eons ago, there are those who understood the power of our sexual energy, which is really our creative energy, right?
Correct.
But they either hid the power of it, the knowledge, or actually even demonized people for expressing their sexual energy. Because someone in alignment with their sexual energy, their creative energy, is free.
That's right.
They post things on Facebook, whether people gonna like it or not. So there's something in here. Someone is sharing. India, she said, I had such a horrible relationship with my yoni. That's not something I have, and I can't even say I understand.
Right.
So I'm going to actually ask you, because I've heard women talk about how they couldn't look at their vagina.
Yeah.
And some ladies said when they did the first time they were in their 20s and they thought it was ugly, sad. Some were compassionate. Can you speak more on that? What's that about?
Well, just basically, right? Women's vaginas are internal and men's penises are external. So we don't see like every day you get to see your penis every single day.
Whether I want to see it or not. It's like, hello, I'm right here.
Right.
Like, not now. Stop.
Exactly. And that's not true as a woman, as a girl. You literally, you have this organ that is at the core of your life and the core of your existence that's tucked beneath you, that you cannot see it really. Like, so you have to make an effort to see it. So, when you're so little boys are always handling their penises, and so there's just a very different, you cannot imagine. Like, can you imagine if you had never seen your penis before? Like,
I don't even know what that's like.
Right, exactly. But that's what's true for us as women. We literally, it's like it's so easy for us to be disconnected from our bodies because, like I said, our functioning of our bodies are so internal. Your breasts are external, but it's so that's the first thing. It's just not available outwardly. So it's easy to miss it. It's easy to function around it. It's easy to just wipe it and clean it and walk away until you start having sex and you're like, oh, that, there's another function for it. So it's just easy to miss because of how we're created biologically, how our bodies work. And then, when I was growing up, Christianity, I was a Christian, that it was a sin to have sex. It's a sin. You are literally doing something that God is not pleased with. So if I was taught that, it's like, why would you want to visit the space of your body that God is not pleased with? And then not only that, you're told that having bleeding, your menstruation is dirty. You're actually told that the thing that is the most profound, incredible thing ever is dirty. Like, that is like, she is unclean. Right? They could have said, she's so holy right now.
Mm-hmm.
Nobody is worthy of her. Right? That's
Oh, I
what
like
could have said.
I like that. Yeah.
So sacred right now that nobody, but that's a whole different mindset.
Yeah.
That's a whole different mindset. Like, yes, I'm having this experience that is the life-giving experience of all humanity. To bleed, it is the most sacred thing a human can do because it is the thing that creates life. But we're told that it's dirty. We're like, and in my, like, the Bible says that to me. That's like, I hear that that comes from like Judaism, like, you can't lay with a woman, all that sort of stuff. Now, those practices, people get to choose how to be with that. Like, but I will say that a woman's blood is sacred, and it's no joke to commune with a woman while she's having her period, because her power is really heightened at that time. So if you're going to have a sexual experience with a woman while she's on her period, really the person who's having sex with her becomes very vulnerable to her, because that blood is so powerful. That's why in Caribbean, like, places where they use like magic and all that, they'll say, like, if a woman put a little bit of her blood in somebody, and that's so they really wanted you not to touch a woman, because she's going to have power over you if you. So that's, I mean, it's just all these lies that we're told, right? So, what is Katie says, women need to feel from the inside first. Absolutely, Katie. So that's at the core of why there is disconnect with our vaginas and why we don't. And then the other reason is because we are not, as women, we're not taught about the fact that the clitoris is the most pleasurable organ on anybody. Like, the clitoris has more pleasure than even a penis. So now we've all seen what a penis does, right? When pleasure comes its way, like, look, oh my God, it's standing up. Okay.
You have no idea. It's like, no, I can't get up. No, I don't want that. Thank you. I'll sit right here for a minute. Maybe 5 minutes.
It's excited. It's standing up. Gotta use it now. Gotta go now, right? This is it. We get 30 minutes, we get an hour, whatever, depending on how conditioned the man is, right? But whatever it is. But my point is that, you see, like, the male pleasure has been celebrated in our cultures. It's been deified. It's been held up and made as this incredible thing, where a woman's pleasure is like, she doesn't get any pleasure. She's just here to please the man. But the clitoris is actually the most pleasurable organ on the human body of any. It's only designed for pleasure. It has no other function. It has millions of nerves, and it's only there for pleasure. That is it. We're not taught that.
Right.
We're not taught that. So we don't know.
And instead, actually, sometimes what is done in other cultures and countries in Africa, and maybe some other places, because sometimes highlight Africa, I'm a bit biased, partial, whatever, but they actually cut the clitoris.
Yes.
And so that women, when they get married, they don't experience pleasure.
Yeah.
And it's like the mentality, the thinking, it's like, what is going on? Yeah. So yeah, like you were saying, it's no surprise that both females and males have no clue about, I'm generalizing, but there are those of us who are educating ourselves, but as a society, we don't have a deeper understanding. But as we start to educate ourselves, we start to learn more about ourselves.
Yes, absolutely. So those are the reasons why we are not really in loving, holistic relationships with our vaginas, because at the onset of life, in our early childhood, rearing, and teenager, we've been conditioned to believe that it's dirty, it's nasty. A woman who is free sexually is a whore, slut. All of that stuff those are the patterns and the conditioning, and that's why. And and really basic things like our vaginas are internal, so because we don't see them, it's easy to continue to miss them.
So there's a question here, which I don't know why YouTube's trying to hide it or asking me to hide it, but anyway, I found it. Jolie said, so the question is, so when is it right to have sex with your partner? What kind of understanding should we both have before taking that step? Good question.
That is a good question.
This is a young person asking you the question, so that's why I'm even like,
that is right. I love that. Me too, right? Well, I think that it's important to really talk openly about what you're doing and what you want and how you feel. I know what I'm working on inside of me is just giving myself the permission to really own my feelings and own my sexual desire. Like, and to have it not be something that's ambiguous, so that, sometimes you just, oh, I like somebody. And then oh, we had sex, right? But there wasn't an agreement. There wasn't what are we doing? Or how are we going to create this experience between us? How are we going to use this energy between us? And because the sexual energy is creative. And so I think the right time is when one or both people say, let's talk about this. I'm having some feelings. I'm having some desires. Are your feelings and desires similar to mine? And once you get clarity to see if you're on the same page, then you get to have a more mature conversation, because then you get to ask, what is it that we want to create? Because when you come together, remember, sex is the coming together of two opposite halves. And, and what I'm studying, I really follow the philosophy of like what Kemetic, like old Egyptian, and it means that you have to have an affinity. It's literally like the affinity sign, right? It's the infinity sign, but it requires affinity, right?
Yes.
So if somebody has the other half to your, like, it literally is an energetic match. And when there's an energetic match, when two people say yes, then it's a go, and you're going to create something. So you have to ask, well, like if maybe someone's going through some financial challenges. Like, okay, we're going to use this energy to drive in more abundance and to heal our understanding of abundance and connection to the universe. Or maybe we're going to use this energy to heal, like maybe somebody's mother is going through a health challenge, right? And you're going to use your own sexual energy. And then when you're in that moment of climax, you hold a vision of the person that you want to heal, to have healing energy, and you send that energy to them for healing, for love, for openness, not for sexuality, but for like to help them heal their bodies, right? We are healers first and foremost as well, so I think that as long as we can talk about it, and for me as a 50-year-old woman, that's been the hardest thing for me, just to be able to say, I'm interested in somebody sexually out loud. Like, I'm actually going to say, I'm interested in you sexually, you know what I mean? Or whatever it is. It's just, the thought of it makes me want to puke, but I'm having to mature myself. I'm having to get mature. It's like, well, you are a human being. If you wanted to eat, you would go eat, and you would go cook food or buy food. It's the same, and guess what? We can actually have sex with ourselves. We don't have to have, like, one of the best things is to really learn how to live in your own body and be sexual and intimate with yourself. And, and the vision that you can create in your mind can be you soaring and thriving and, like being one with nature. Like, there's something so sensual about being one with nature, right? It's like I can get so excited just thinking of myself as a butterfly.
And you just lay your eggs, and then it's like, what kind of eggs is this? And you're like, I don't know, take it or leave it. You are that. So let's kind of take this back, because the question about what was it again? there's a lot going on YouTube. What kind of understanding should we both have before taking it to that step? And as I said, the young person is asking a question, but it applies to everyone really,
Yeah.
where we don't learn the language of communicating about sexuality. And I know that things are shifting, but normally boys are not raised to have a language to express. I don't want to generalize to express their feelings because they express their anger and all that, but to really to express their intimacy, their vulnerable self.
Yeah.
So if two young people or two adults who, even women who don't know how to express their vulnerability because that's been deemed weakness, and they get together this chemistry, because all the other information in the news that we're programmed with is you see somebody and it looks like you like them, and then you invite them in for coffee, and we all know what coffee means.
Right.
And then, oh my God, what can we do to start, especially, what would you suggest for people who feel like, I don't have the language, I don't even know how to ask for what I want, and he certainly ain't trying to have that conversation with me, but I do feel attraction. I feel like he's a good man, she's a good woman, but this part of the conversation is kind of awkward. I'd rather just have sex and talk about it later than talk about it. What can we do to kind of ease the journey?
Right. Well, there are things that I do. For me, like I do my best to be honest about what's going on with me. So I do my best to say, I'm nervous. I don't know how to have this conversation. This freaks me out, but it has to be had, right? Like I'm so afraid of rejection. I'm so afraid of not being liked, and just acknowledge those things. That's human. That is, and we're all in this new territory. None of us have done this before. But this is why we have the Me Too movement, because women have been in situations, like, let me speak for myself. I know that I have been in a number of situations where I have been sending a man signals that I want sex, but I don't really know how to do it. And or I have, how about this? I put myself in situations where I wanted some form of intimacy, but I didn't want sex. But because I didn't communicate it, sex was had.
Yeah. Because in a man's mind, the intimacy thing is looked like, that means let's have sex, because she was ready.
Right. That's right. So it's important to be able to say exactly, like, I want to lay down with you. I want to connect with you, but I don't want to have sex with you. Like laying down doesn't mean sex, like, so be really clear. I saw, there was something I saw, maybe it was on Saturday Night Live not so long ago or something. It was really silly. And he was like, okay, I'm going to touch your breast right now with my right hand. Is that okay? I'm gonna take my right hand and move it across your body to your left breast.
I think it's Saturday Night Live.
Right. And so, like, yes, that is, but it sounds ridiculous and it seems silly and it seems like it's not romantic, but at least when people can get clear about what the parameters are, then you know where to function, what you can do, it's like, and talking about it just makes everyone responsible. So no one can leave and say, oh, I didn't mean for that to happen. No, we talked about it. We talked about it, because I know that in every situation where something happened where I didn't intend for it, it was because I hoped they knew what I was thinking or something. I hope they did, but I hadn't said it.
Right.
And how can I hold them responsible for the fact that I didn't speak my truth or ask a question or say what I really was intending? And I just feel like that's the thing that I feel is out of balance in this Me Too thing. It's like, because I know as a woman, there have been so many times I haven't spoken up.
The other thing is as well, sometimes when we wait to have the conversation when it's time to have sex, too late.
Yes.
Too late.
That's right.
The conversation needs to happen
That's
way
right.
before we're in each other's house.
That's right.
Or close to the place
Before the
safe.
dinner, before the couple
Yes.
of glasses of wine,
Yes.
before the kissing has started.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Yeah, because once kissing starts, it's a wrap. You just never know what happened. And I think, even the conversation of where do you see yourself in 10 years? Well, do you want to own your own business? What do you see? It's like those conversations about sex and intimacy and sexuality. That conversation needs to be on the forefront. Sometimes we waste time and entertaining one another's representative and presenting ourselves a certain kind of way when that's the moment to start really getting real,
That's right.
And I think when we start early, when we start the conversation earlier, it's easier to have the uncomfortable conversations that come up in the moment, like, oh, wait a minute, because we've laid a foundation. But oftentimes, and that whole thing, my right hand is going in your breast. Yes, they're asking questions, but in that moment, you should know what not should, but it's a lot easier at that point. I remember hearing something, it's kind of playing in my head, so I'm going to say it. I think I was watching a documentary. I think it was a documentary about Barack Obama and Michelle Obama. And she said when they first kissed, he asked, "May I kiss you?" Now, that might sound to you like, okay. To me, I was like, damn. And that's probably, I don't know, 5 years, 6 years, something like that ago. And I never even had that thought to ask for permission like that. To me, it looks like there's something going on and I can reach in. And I won't reach in just in case I'm going to be pushed away. But the idea of asking, can I kiss you? It just clears confusion. It's what you're saying, this whole thing about asking and talking about it. Then sex itself doesn't have to be too awkward. And even if it's awkward, I love what you said about I'm nervous, because when we express the part of us that was once hidden, I believe it brings us closer.
Yes.
Intimacy happens.
Yes.
Now, you can reveal that part of you that's vulnerable, but the other person may disregard it. But it's also information to know, this. We're either going to talk about this some more, or this is not somebody who I need to be with.
Right.
Go ahead. I know you want to say something. Go ahead. I got a question in here I want to ask you.
Give me the question.
So it was actually kind of not off topic. Anyway, let me ask the question. Let me just ask the question.
Yeah.
Just ask the question, man. How do you feel about contraceptives?
I feel like every woman and couple should do whatever they need to do to make sure they're comfortable. So, I think I think that the birth control pill does something to a woman's body that is not good for a woman's sexual health, honestly, but I understand the reliance upon it. I am at odds with what we do to our bodies and how those hormones impact us, and they impact our brain, how the hormones work in our brains. Like, it really does throw us off. But I understand the value of contraception. I am in menopause now, but from the time that I started having my period until the last one happened about a year ago, I was constantly in thought about getting pregnant. It is a very real thing for women, being able to really enjoy sex without the thought of pregnancy or the fear of pregnancy, or, it's a very different thing. So I think the contraception is necessary. I just think that it's important to make sure that that you're using contraceptive methods that really don't do harm to your clock, to your internal system clock and how it functions.
So let's kind of pivot a little bit, because we've talked about, different things about why we don't talk about it and the miseducation on the unknowing. So for women who are mostly my followers, and men too, if you could speak to that, what can we do to reconnect with our sexual energy, in cultivate a different relationship, a harmonious relationship, an empowering relationship with our sexual energy?
Mm-hmm. That's a great question. So I'll just share what I've been doing, because I think that it's personal for everyone. And when you start to listen to your body, right? I literally started listening to my body and seeing what was going on. And I realized my body wasn't like, my body was turned off in ways, like my body wasn't fully activated. So I started paying attention to.
Let me jump in there. So let's break down that body was turned. There are
Okay.
those of us who understand what you mean, but somebody who's saying, "What do you mean my body was turned off?" What does that
Okay.
mean?
Okay, great. That's great. So a lot of women don't access orgasm. How about that? A lot of women don't have orgasms. And I I would have pleasure. Sometimes I would have orgasm, but I started really paying attention during sex. What am I really experiencing? What am I really feeling here? What's really happening in this experience? And yes, I was with a partner, and I'm with this person, and I love them and I value them and all of that. But I'm more curious about what's going on with me in this experience. What is my body feeling right now? And when I started really asking, paying attention to me, then I started to realize, like, oh, this feels pleasurable. This does not. That feels sensations. This does not. Like, I started really paying attention. And as I started to do that, then I started asking myself, well, what are some other things that I can do to help my body alone? So I started, I had a partner who we wouldn't have any sort of penetration at all. We would just touch one another, simple like this, like just touching and cuddling and laying together and talking so that I could cultivate intimacy. I realized as a woman that I had not, because of my father wasn't very present in my life, I hadn't had bona fide non-sexual relationships with men that were intimate, like men who I could be intimate with, but it wasn't sexual. And the moment it turned into something sexual, like something else changed. It's like I will become the vixen. You know what I mean? It's like I would become this other aspect of myself, and it's like, no.
So you felt like? Did you say you felt like a victim, or they treated you like a victim?
No. I would feel like I would become a vixen, like the minute.
Vixen. Oh, okay.
Vixen.
Okay.
So then I become this sexual person, and it's like, what is that? You know what I mean? Like, what's really what's really driving that? So I started paying attention to my own sexual desire, what motivated me sexually, what turned me on sexually, what turns me off sexually. Like, if I hear a man say something negative about another woman, I cannot have sex with him. It just, if I hear him, like, I once had a partner who commented on a woman who had on a very fitted top. She was very shapely, very beautiful. And he said something like, her top is too tight. And he said it in a negative way. And I actually would have appreciated if he would have said, she has beautiful breasts. And wow, like, that's because that's what was true. And
right, exactly.
Right.
Hidden behind judgment, the truth is like, damn, but I can't say that next to her.
Right, exactly. So I knew that he was out of touch in some way, and that in times of him, like, he would turn against the feminine because of his own desire. Like, he made his desire her responsibility. And so I was like, he's not a trustworthy lover. Like, and that was it. Literally, we never had sex again.
You shut it down, literally, right?
I was like, this is not okay. So it's like really getting clear about what motivates you sexually. What makes your vagina wet? What makes your vagina dry? What makes your breasts feel good? What makes your legs feel good? What kind of partner, man or woman attract? Sometimes I'm totally attracted to women. Totally. I'm not romantic with women. I don't have sexual relationships with women. I have occasionally, but sometimes I'm really attracted to them. And when I ask myself, what is that? It's women who are really nurturing and loving in these ways that I didn't have from my mother. You're like, it's like that nurturing, mothering energy also occurs as sensual to me sometimes. And I have one woman in my life who I'm literally like, when I'm like, oh, she turns me on. She really does. Like she and it's like I go,
woo. Don't come near me. No.
Right.
She's like the sun to you, right?
Right, exactly. And I love that. I love that because I don't have that often with other women, you know. And so I know that I'm attracted. My attraction is not about gender. It really is about an energy, right? So it's like really get clear about what drives your sexuality. And then when you're thinking about what drives your sexuality, think about what drives your creativity, because they're the same. Think about what drives your spirituality, because they're the same. What makes you feel really open and like you are invincible? What makes you feel deeply connected and inside of yourself? All of that is your sexuality. So think about all those things and just pay attention. Write journal about it, you know? Talk to other people about it. That's the good thing is if we can talk about this stuff, we can make it less taboo, and we can actually begin to have a more joyful experience in our sexual encounters. So begin to talk about it with people. What do you think? What turns you on? What feels good? Like when I started exploring the thought of the possibility of having anal sex, like I had a friend of mine I talked about it with. One of my friends sent me a book. Another friend sent me, like these are the things that can help you, and learning, what's the value of this experience. And what I realized just in my study around anal sex, like not even in a practice of it, but in a study of it, I realized that root chakra is anchored into our sense of security. And so when I started doing meditating on my root chakra, I realized that the reason that I feel so insecure, I had felt so insecure in the world, was because my root energy was misaligned. And so it was impacting the way I released food. It was creating congestion in my body and my bowels. All that's our sexuality.
Let's talk about, it's still the same. Now, you were talking earlier about when a woman is during her moon cycle and how powerful she is at that moment. What are some of the things women can do when they're during their period?
Yeah.
And especially because what I know as a man, what I hear more about is the pain, the cramp.
Yeah.
I don't often hear somebody saying, this is a holy moment, a sacred moment. So what can women do to sort of that inviting that power and the fire within them that's being released at that time?
Yeah. Thank you. So let me just say that I miss my period so much. I really miss my period. And I loved it. But I would say really honor.
I've never heard anybody say that.
I do.
Any woman say that. Yeah.
So when I was still bleeding, I would do rituals with my blood. So I would collect it, because now your blood can be captured in a capsule, and where you can collect it. And so I would collect it at the time, and I would do new moon rituals. I would do new moon rituals, like by collecting the blood, writing my intention, because the blood is the life force, right? If you were Christian, they talk to you about the blood of Jesus, but really it's the blood of Mary that creates life, right? So I would write out, like my intentions, my desires, and then add a crystal, the essence of the energy of a crystal with it. Bury it in the earth, because the earth is the collective great mother. Bury it in the earth, and then just, know that the earth is holding my desires and my dreams with me. It's like I said, to bleed is an honor. To be a woman is the most godly thing you can be.
it's about intention, isn't it? It's about
Yeah.
the inner work, and it's not just for females, also for men. And I ain't as bold as Monique. So when I have a thought, sometimes they got to go through so many filters before it comes out my mouth. But
Right.
I remember when I first heard that a man can have an orgasm without ejaculating for hours. I'm like, what? How does that even happen? How is that possible? But once again, it's the whole thing about you're saying is educating. I mean, it's part of it's written in the book. There are many groups nowadays, and we live in a society where we are more open-minded, open-hearted about having this conversation. I'm sure if listeners they're looking for a group, they do a search on Facebook. There's so many. Go on YouTube, go on Google, and I think the hesitation that we feel about our sexuality, male or female, is part of the teaching as well.
Yes.
I remember when I embarked on a course that I hadn't finished and I have intention to continue. And it's about learning about my sexual energy, how it relates to the brain and what is happening inside of me, and consent. And really helping people as well, and really just experience their sexual energy, their pleasure from an empowered point of view. And I remember when I was to tell some of my friends, I was nervous. And I was nervous, worried about what they're going to think about me taking this course.
Yeah.
Once I was able to get through that, most of the people that I spoke to literally were confessing to me. Like, when I first heard you say it, I was like, ooh, what is it you do? What made you start thinking of doing that course? But then the conversation will always move to, listening to you now, I feel like there's some things I need to work through when it comes to sexuality, my sexual energy. And for me, I felt like the whole idea of me wanting to participate in that course was also helping people, because I was having the conversation. I was willing to be vulnerable. I was willing to be judged, even though I was nervous sometimes. But once I was able to sort it out in my mind, my expression, my confession, my honesty gave other people permission to say, there's some things I need to learn about my own sexual energy. And I found that very liberating.
Yes, absolutely. I agree. It's liberating. It's healing. It's life, it's freeing. And the more of us who can step into it and treat it as a natural function of our humanity, the better off we are.
Yeah. I think part of it as well, we have a tendency to limit the experience just to a physical thing.
Yes.
Feeling it, then there's got to be somebody. Oh, I'm horny. But sometimes the feeling, it's a creative energy that is pulsating, that wants to go towards something. However, if we don't know that, we end up doing all kind of stuff. Or I won't say that, but we end up having sex with people that we're like, oh my God, I'm just trying to get some.
Right. Go ahead. I'm sorry. Go ahead.
No, keep going. We're dancing together.
No, it's such an interesting thing, because people end up having affairs with people that they work with.
Mm-hmm.
Because the workspace is creative.
Mm-hmm.
That's when you're at work, whatever kind of work you're doing, the energy is creative. So then you're working with people and you're in this energy that is creating. And so then people come together because it's because they're unconscious. So if you understand, we're just generating this creative energy, and this creative energy makes me feel like, oh my God, I'm in love with you, we should have an affair or any of that. But it's literally just creative energy, sexual energy. It's normal. It's not, it doesn't have to mean that you should have sex with that person or you're in love with that. It just means that when two things come together,
they create.
Yeah. It's happening all the time.
And then that's also another reason to kind of embrace self-pleasuring, because in that moment you're thinking, oh, I might regret this later. If you have that thought, you might just be safe and go take care of yourself.
Yeah.
And this idea of it's so many things are like bubbling in my head right now. This whole thing for me, as I'm having this conversation with you, Monique, and the questions that's happening in the chat room, it's an invitation to come back to oneself.
Mm-hmm. Yes.
It's like, I'm very creative.
Yeah.
So it's easy for me to see the sexual energy as creative. And it's really simple because, your parents came together to create you.
Yes.
And they're coming together is what gave, so that your whole makeup, your spiritual DNA is rooted in your sexual energy. Go ahead.
Right.
I feel you bubbling up.
No, and right, your parents came together and make you, and we call it making love, is what we call it.
Yes. Yes.
So then what are you?
I like that. Never thought I didn't take it that far. Ooh. And you got me somewhere now. So when you make love and a physical baby did not come out, you've made some kind of love.
That's right.
Based on the thought that you were thinking. So you're making something when you come together with another, or
That's
whether
right.
you come together with yourself.
That's
Yeah.
right. That's right. That's right. And whatever it is, it's love, because you're making love. You're making love. You know what I mean? It's so you are love. I am love. All of us are love, because that's what you have to do. You make love, and then this is the result.
There's so much I want to say that I want us to talk about, but we're coming to a point where we're going to release the show.
Mm-hmm.
But I want to ask you, one of the things, so you and I talked a few days ago, and I was saying to you, is like, I think I don't connect with you often because I'm afraid that you're going to help me. You're going to shine the light, not intentionally, just being you, help me go to places that I'm not ready to go to. And later on, I think 2 days later, I realized that's not the whole truth. The whole truth for me is this whole thing about vulnerability. Like, if I really, because you show up, you come like a light bulb. In darkness, it's like, oh God, here comes Monique. So for me, when we're having a conversation, you illuminate your how you show up, your spirit, your energy opens me up. And sometimes I feel like if I express that, what if it's not received? Now, what I know about you, there's a part of me that's saying, Monique, Monique, but that's my stuff of me feeling like if I express something that's intimate, something that's vulnerable, it won't be received, which was rooted in insecurity. And when you think of rooted, insecure, when you're not rooted, you're insecure. And I get it. So it's like there were things about me that I won't say or share because I'm thinking it won't be received well. And if it's not received well, then that means something about me. Then I feel insecure. And when I feel insecure, I'm wishing I'd never said anything. Now, there's a reason I told that story.
Yeah.
Maybe something that I'm not even aware of. You seem to be able to express yourself in ways that it's just like, I don't give a fuck. This is what I'm hearing. This is what I'm feeling. I'm in service to love, and I'm expressing myself. And I read your post today on Facebook in talking about how powerful we are. And there are times I'm reading your post, and I'm like, damn, Monique, I'm talking to you. So the question I want to ask is, how did you get to that place where you can source that? It's not so much the fact that you express it. I guess it's the trust or the confidence to express what you're feeling, what you're hearing, what you know to be true for you. How did that come about?
I would say that I was born, like I grew up in an environment that if you didn't speak up for yourself, you would have been like, you'll be eaten alive. Like that's like I grew up in Watts, and like when people live in poverty,
Los Angeles, right?
Yeah,
so for people who don't know.
The Watts riots, and but when people live in poverty, you have to learn how to fend for yourself. You got to learn how to speak up. You got to learn how to say no, thank you.
And how to fight. And how to fight.
That's right, you do. And I grew up like that. So and let me just say, my family was like, here, come on, Niche, you talk too much. Don't say, like, I used to be the one that walked in the room and people would stop talking because they were like, if whatever she hears, she's going to repeat it.
Monique is here.
Right. So I've always kind of like I was in it, like I just was not the person that was gonna just let things go without me saying my opinion or like how it was impacting me. So but I want you to know that when I am romantically interested in someone and that is not a clear understanding yet, I am nervous. And I do not know how to say to somebody, I know you don't know this, but I think I'm in love with you, or you know what I mean? Or I really like you, or I'm attracted to you. Like, I don't know if you want to have sex with me, but I want to have sex with you. You know what I mean? Like, so there are times when I'm like, right? Or if there are people that I really love and respect in spaces, and I know they disagree with me, like some of the things that I believe in, I know that there are people that I love and respect who disagree with me, and it's hard for me to say those things. I shake in my boots saying a lot of the stuff that I say, but I'm here on earth for a reason. And if I'm not here to do what the Creator sent me to do, then what am I here for? What am I here for? So if I'm not earning my keep, then I could get snatched. So I'm here to earn I'm like, this is my spot. Let me work in it. Let me use it correctly. Before somebody else is like, if she won't take their spot, I'll take her spot.
right. It's like, this is mine.
That's right. There are many souls. There are many souls waiting to get to this earth plane to do the work. This is a high level work we do here as earthlings, and so I have to earn my keep. That's why I say what I think.
When some of the pushbacks, do you read the pushbacks, or when you read some of it, does it bother you, or you just go?
Yes, I read it and go, wow, and then. And sometimes I engage if it's people that I really know and people that I'm in a regular relationship with in real time or on social media, I will engage. Or if it's people that aren't really on my page or, where I'm in, then I ignore them because I only have so much energy, right? I only have so much time a day where I can do this stuff. My work is very social media driven. So, so that's another part of it, that it's work for me. Like when I'm commenting and all, that's my work. You know what I mean? I build community. So, but I keep in mind, I'm aware of all of it. I'm sensitive. I have a Pisces rising. For those of you who understand astrology, I have a Pisces rising. I'm very, very, very sensitive. I can feel everything. And Spirit has taught me to just feel it. That's a part, but going back to my sexuality, like just feel it. Just feel it. Just breathe it. How does this feel? Oh, I don't like this one. Okay. Cool.
Right?
It feels okay. You don't like it, but okay, that's fair. You don't like it. And that's it.
And that's a very important thing. Just because you don't like how it feels doesn't mean there's anything wrong.
That's right.
It just means you don't like it. It means that's your interpretation of it or your understanding of it, or you think, but just because you don't like how it feels doesn't mean there's something wrong. There's information there. There are messages there for you to do, maybe take action or be still. But that's also in cultivating a relationship with ourselves, with our bodies, to understand the messages that we are sending to ourselves from ourselves.
That's right. And that is a part of our sexuality.
That's right.
Being in your body, feeling your body. Recently, I've started taking dance classes and things to really get me out of my head and in my body so I can feel. I've started taking a belly dancing class. I started taking a tennis class just so that I can get in my body, and it's really helping.
So I'm going to ask you two questions, but they kind of tie in. I was going to ask you, how can we use the awareness of our sexual energy, being a healing energy and a creative energy, in times like this, where, the whole world literally is saying no, no, no to oppression, white supremacy, white violence, and it's not just that. Sometimes we get so caught up that that's the only thing. It's really, for me, I feel like we are waking up to realizing when we other one another, it is painful, it is harmful, it is wounding. So how can we use our sexual energy to support ourselves and the world, really, with our sexual energy?
Right. That's a really good question. I think the thing at the core of our sexual energy is creation and pleasure, right? It's like creation and pleasure. Creation is the core of who we are as human beings. Everything about us is creative. And when we can connect that understanding to pleasure, whether that pleasure be someone that you are actually having a sexual experience with, a sexual encounter, you having a sexual encounter with yourself, you reading a book, like really, this is the time more than ever for us to really have pleasure and play and have fun, because the world is so up in arms right now. And so as an astrologer, just really quickly.
Well, it's good, because I was going to ask you talk to us about astrology and sex. So, but yeah, go ahead. You got it.
So as an astrologer, I will say that we are in the ending of cycles that have been going on for 500, 1,500 years, like literally. So because cycles are ending, that means that we are more creative now than we ever have been. Our energy is more creative because things are breaking down. When death is coming, then life is on the next, like death and life, they go like this, right?
Yes.
One begets the other. So as things are dying, as things are going on, as things are coming undone, focus your energy. Don't focus your energy into the death. Focus your energy into the pleasure, because it's going to drive you into new ways of thinking and being and feeling, to new people, to explore, do new things that you've never done. Like, just make it your business. I'm going to go just do, like I played tennis the other day. I never played tennis. And I got on the court. I was like, oh my God, like I was a natural. I'm athletic naturally, but I got on the court and the guy was like, oh, I was like, no, but I was a natural. I was, but it's like, do something you've never done before. Do something you've never done before, and drive pleasure, because that is going to help. Astrology is saying that we are ending these. Oh, literally, if you ever been to a play when they broke down the set and they moved everything out and it was gone, and then they bought something else in, that's what's going on right now. The set is being broken down, and we're going to build something else. So the more you can stay in pleasure and joy and love and your connection to the divine, the better off you'll be, because that's what we're up to astrologically. And Mars is for women, Mars is the energy of our attraction, because that's the masculine energy. So wherever your Mars is in your chart, that's who you're naturally attracted to, like natural attractions, right? And so like Ade, for instance, Ade is an Aries, and Aries is governed by Mars. And Mars is going through Aries right now, going to be there so literally, Ade, I bet that you're under a deep deconstruction. You are asking deeper questions right now about yourself, who you are, how you feel about yourself. Get it? Telling y'all want to get a book.
Busting loose from the money game. I text Monique. I'm like, this is blowing my mind. I am in a stage where things that I believe are just like breaking loose. I have to surrender to it. It's almost like it's happening without me.
That's
so
right.
The best I can do is to be in alignment with it, or I'm just going to be in trouble. Yeah.
That's right. So that's the best thing we can do. Focus on being creative and fueling pleasure. Pleasure. The more you feel good, you're going to get new ideas. You're going to meet new people. You're going to feel naturally happy. Your body is going to be producing oxytocin. And then you're going, like, it's about building a new reality. And you're like, okay, this feels good. This doesn't. Just pay attention as we're moving forward. Creation and pleasure.
Creation and pleasure. So when you watch the news and you get pissed, find the closest place and go pleasure yourself. It's like, no, I'm transmuting this energy. I'm transmuting this because pleasure connects you with your joy. Joy makes you resilient. Joy makes you creative. It just opens so much inside of you. And I've said this, we're living in a time where it's the perfect time to create. The door is wide open. If you want to do something stupid, to put it nicely, the door is wide open. If you want to do something to empower people and move people in a way that people have never been moved before, the door is wide open. And there's no point. We don't need to be distracted by some of the news stories that we're hearing, whatever it is, be it COVID or whatever. It's like, get the information you need and go back and do your own work and birth the world that you want to see.
That's right.
You know I can talk to you all day, right?
You can. I have a client at noon.
I know. Don't make me feel rejected. I know I was just saying.
I'm gonna tell you, I want to talk to you all day.
I know. So tell me, what are you up to that you want people to know? What are you creating right now? Your website is MoniqueRuffin.com. Monique, RUFFIN.com. Thank you, India. What are you creating that you want people to know about? How are you helping women? And anything else you want to share?
Yes. Well, I'm right now. I'm doing a Mars retrograde course. It's focused on a new identity for a new world, and so I am helping people with the rituals and practices to help them really build a new identity, because our old world is crumbling. So we get to be new. We get to recreate ourselves. So that's one thing that I'm doing. And then if people want to work with me personally on life coaching issues, or, they can go visit my website and see the things that I focus on. And like Ade said, people come, people sometimes are scared. They come afraid, like I'm going to blow their world up. But I want to say that the world is blowing up anyway. And I'm just here to help you see yourself in a better way, so that you can be who you really are. And it can occur as scary to let go of the old things, but I've done the work and I'm doing it. And I promise you, you will be better off. Even facing your fears, you will become invincible. Your life will change. And I just encourage people to do it with me or anyone. Just do the work, because that's what's going on right now on the planet, no matter where.
Indeed. It's important to know that we're not even separate from what's going on in the world. We're part of it. So if the world is blowing up, we are blowing up. So you're helping people salvage what is treasurable, what is pleasurable, and what's the pieces. Can let that go. It's like, no, you don't need that. Well, my mother said I must always hold this. No, it's not serving you. And yes, thank you, Monique. I love and appreciate you. Thank you.
And thank you to all your guests. Thank you for the comments. Thank you for following me. Thank you for participating. Thank you so much.
I love you, my dear friend.
All right.
Look forward to our conversation. All right. Bye-bye. Woo! Life is good. It's getting better. You are very welcome, Carol. And Kwali, thank you. I feel fed. I don't smoke, but I can use a cigarette right now. It's like, that conversation is like making love. I love conversations, empowerment conversations. I love facilitating the space for people to grow and develop and expand, that we remember who we are. We can say there are people who don't want you to know who you are. Yes, that's true. But that really doesn't matter. If you are committed to knowing who you are, those who don't want you to know don't even matter, because you are one with you, and the oneness with you makes you powerful. And they're in the external world. They're just really a reflection of what's going on inside of you. So when you think all that conversation about haters, no, haters are just reflecting your own belief system. If you're triggered by it, there's something you need to heal. If you're not, then you recognize that that doesn't bother you anymore. And if you're triggered by it, don't judge yourself. Go pleasure yourself. Ooh, that was good. I didn't even plan that. When you're pissed, pleasure yourself. Anyway, thank you everyone for your questions. Robin, so nice to see you. You've been watching, you've been listening you've been lurking in the corner. Christine, Lotus, New Jace, thank you all. Raven. Oh, I love my life, and I'm so grateful for the opportunity to do this. I invite you all to take whatever you got from here, the aha moments, and apply it, even if it's just one. Whatever shift that you caught today, whatever new thought that you caught, apply it. Even if you do it for the next 30 days, 60 days, prove it to yourself that that new thought actually works. Or if it doesn't, you may have to modify it. That's what it's about. We're here to reveal ourselves, to multiply the consciousness of truth, and the people we can't stand, we're here to love them. I'm not going to tell you that story. Maybe another show. But I had a conversation. Yeah, I can't stand him. And I had a dream today, and the message was really learn to love. I guess I can tell you. I had a dream about Donald Trump. And in the dream, it wasn't an antagonistic conversation. I was actually asking him to donate to some youth organization or something. And he did. But anyway, there's more to this dream, which I won't go into now, because it's not really the essence of the dream. Was when I woke up and I asked, what does that mean? Spirit told me it's extending love to even people that I can't stand. This is not a physical thing. This is not an emotional thing. This is a state of being that I don't like what you're doing. I don't like how you're showing up. I recognize that you're not coming from your true self, but I still love you because we are one. So when people tell you we're one, well, let me see you apply it. Let me see you demonstrate it. It's easy to throw out those spiritual concepts, but let your life be an expression of what you know to be true. If there ever was a time to do it, this is a safe time to show up fully. The world is ready. You're ready. I love you. I bless you. I appreciate you. And I thank God for you. Thank you all for tuning in. Yes, New Jace. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. And I'll be back on Thursday. 6 p.m. Eastern time, 11 p.m. UK time. And this is where I work with a guest who wants to move through something that where you're maybe feeling stuck, whatever, relationship issues. They're trying to develop a new spiritual practice. It could be relationship with parents, with themselves, with a partner, a lover, whatever. We do some soul work and get to the heart of the matter. Every Thursday, 6 p.m. Eastern, 11 p.m. UK, The Heart Ade presents The Heart of the Matter. Sending you love to my dear sister Danielle. Thank you for being here, Raven. And Raven said, oh my God, I had a dream about him too yesterday. Well, tell us about it. It's time to release this conversation. And as they say at my friend and mentor's spiritual center, Rev D, Reverend Deborah L. Johnson, they say, take this consciousness and multiply it. Multiply the consciousness of joy, of peace, of understanding, of oneness. And for goodness sake, the consciousness of pleasure. See, I'm having so much fun. I don't even want to end this conversation. It's time to go. I got something else to do. Peace and blessings.
There is a space in my heart where I find the truth. I find me in you, a truth beyond what you may see now. But when we are one, we bring more good about. No matter who or what you call yourself or where you come from, yeah, there is a place in this world with open arms right now. Welcome to love, welcome to peace, welcome embrace and let go. Trust the flow. There's a freedom in love when you follow your heart. Together we are stronger than we could ever be apart. No matter who or what you call yourself or where you come from, yeah, there is a place in this world with open arms right now. Welcome to love, welcome to peace, welcome to our community. Be who you are, let your light shine. We're so much more when we unite. You are welcome here. You are welcome here. Breathe in and out, slowly feel all that's around you, all that you feel, all that you know. Let it go. Welcome to love, welcome to peace, welcome to our community.